Greetings, loved ones. If you have just discovered that your child or a child you care about has been sexually abused, it may feel like your whole world is falling apart. But there is hope. Other caring adults have been where you are. Today we're going to continue our series on caring for sexually abused children. And today we're going to ask the question, but who should I tell? We're also going to discuss questions and answers about seeking help after sexual abuse. So help us get these messages out. Please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, hit the like button and the notification bell, and please share these messages with others. You could save a life. Anna, who's 15 and a sexual abuse survivor, said, "My soul was crying out for me to tell, but the fear I had in my heart prevented me." For kids like Anna, letting other people know that they've been sexually abused, a process called disclosure, can be almost as painful and scary as the abuse itself. So painful and scary, in fact, that many kids who are sexually abused never tell anyone what happened. If you have been sexually abused, it is important that you let someone know what happened and get help. Disclosure may be scary, but it is also the first step in healing from the pain. Why should I tell anyone? All I want to do is to put this behind me. Maybe you're thinking about that. But remember, sexual abuse lives on because of secrecy. People who commit sexual abuse, perpetrators, often blame, shame, or threaten their victims to make sure no one hears about what they have done to you. Disclosure is the first step to healing for you, and also the first step to making sure the person who hurt you doesn't get a chance to hurt anyone else. So you ask, who should I tell? Tell an adult that you trust and feel comfortable with. Sometimes that means a parent or other relative. Sometimes it means a teacher, a counselor, or even a friend's parent. The main thing, the important thing, is that you trust the person. If you're not sure who to tell, you can also call the Child Help Hotline at 1-800-4CHILD, 1-800-422-4453. That'll be in the description. The call is free, and the Child Help Crisis Counselors can help you find help in your area. Anna, 15, the same Anna, sexual abuse survivor, said, "If anyone hearing this is going through what I went through, please take my advice. No matter how bad or good the rapport is between you and your family members, do not wait until the abuse destroys you to tell someone. If one person doesn't believe you, tell someone else." And she says, keep telling until someone listens. She says, "I know it's painful to tell, but what you're living with is far worse." So what if the person I tell doesn't believe me? You're asking yourself that question. Tell someone else. Most kids find that the adults they tell do believe them and will help them. But when the perpetrator is a relative or family friend, some adults may not want to believe that a person they trusted could do such a terrible thing. If the first person you tell doesn't believe you or does nothing to get help, keep telling people, your favorite teacher, your school counselor, the school nurse, or call the Child Help Hotline until you get the support and help you need. So then you're wondering, well, what will happen after I tell? After you tell, you may have concerns about yourself and your body. Having a medical exam will be helpful to make sure you are healthy. In addition, to make sure everyone is safe and getting the help they need, you may need to talk to a caseworker, counselor, and or the police. Counseling can be very helpful to young people as they go through this experience. And if the perpetrator was someone you live with, there may be changes at home to make sure that you and other family members are safe from harm. Whatever happens, keep in mind that everything is being done to make sure that you are safe and that you get the help you need to heal. Disclosure can bring up a lot of confusing questions and feelings. You may feel good about no longer having such a big secret and safer because someone knows, but also angry about what happened and scared about how people will react. You may even feel worried about what's going to happen to the perpetrator. All of these reactions are normal. The important thing is to remember that you did the right thing and the abuse was not your fault. Tamika, age 17, who was a sexual abuse survivor, said, My family supported me and constantly reminded me that I'd done the right thing by speaking out. She said, and after I spoke out, my stepfather's sister and niece confessed that he had molested them as well. And she says it made me feel proud to have been the one with the courage to speak out. All right, so now you may be thinking, I told, and now it just seems like everything is worse than ever. Can't I just take it all back? The days and weeks right after a person discloses sexual abuse can be kind of rough, particularly if the perpetrator was someone you knew well. Many perpetrators try to make their victims feel responsible for the abuse or to believe that the abuse was love. Listen to me. Sexual abuse is never your fault, and it is never okay for an adult to express love by being sexual with a child, including teenagers. By disclosing the abuse, you've protected yourself and other kids who might have been abused. You may even have made it possible for the abuser to get help so he or she won't abuse again. And sometimes family and friends, they may take a while to understand what happened and to fully accept what the abuser did, such a terrible thing. This can be frustrating and scary. But most children who disclose do have family members and friends who support them and want to help. So hang in there and rely on the people who believe in you and who you trust. So where can you go to learn more and get help? There are many organizations and websites that can help you with getting help and taking the step of disclosure. Here are just a few. 911rape.org. This is sponsored by the Rape Treatment Center of Santa Monica, UCLA Medical Center. This site offers support for info on how to get help after a sexual assault abuse. Then there's aftersilence.org. This offers a support group, message board, and chat room for survivors of sexual abuse. Then there's the National Center for Victims of Crime, Teen Action Partnership. That is ncvc.org. You'll find a toll-free helpline, 1-800-FYI-CALL. That's 1-800-394-2255. That's from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can call there and get counseling, practical information, and referrals to local sources of help. Then there's the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, RAINN, that's RAINN.org. They offer general information on sexual abuse and a search page for finding local rape, sexual abuse crisis centers. RAINN also sponsors the toll-free National Sexual Assault Hotline, 1-800-656-HOPE. All of this information will be in our description. Lots of kids have gone through sexual abuse and have gained the strength and greater confidence through the disclosure and recovery process. And you can read some of their stories in their own words in these two excellent books. One is called Kids Helping Kids, Break the Silence of Sexual Abuse, written by Linda Foltz from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in Lighthouse Point Press. Then there's Lori Tells, Lori Lowry from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and that's a good book too. You need to do research because according to the CDC, over half of all the children in the world, this just blows my mind, 1 billion children ages 2 to 17 experience violence every single year. The question is not if you're going to encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You could be the person who saves a life. Micah 6:8 says, He has showed you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. You are called. We are all called to be champions for justice. And if you're a victim, I want you to know there is a way out. It is not your fault. Abuse is not love. And most of all, you are not alone. If you're suffering violence, reach out to someone today. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, call 911 for help. And if you know of a child or other person suffering violence, tell the authorities. In our next episode, we will continue our series on caring for sexually abused children, and then we will discuss sexual development and behavior in children. Until then, God bless you.